Hey, do you notice how much better looking today I am than Steve and Jesse?
I was going to say.
I agree.
I'm handsome. I'm tall. And today I'm feeling good because I'm wearing my True Classic shirt. Look, have a look. Look at it. See, here's the thing with True Classic, right? It gets you in all the right areas, right? T-shirts for a man. Gets you, make sure your arms look huge.
He looks like a man.
You don't got to do that guy T-shirt thing, when you pull the thing and you're trying to get it over.
Oh, I hate that.
Pull it down. Like True Classic, it just kind of fits. It already has that built in, so it fits you.
And listen, this may shock you, but I am not the slenderest man. And
I don't know.
Listen, it's just the reality. I'm a man's man. And usually when you go to the store, as Jesse mentioned, it's like you either have the super slender, like it's spray painted on your stomach,
right?
Or it fits you sort of like a dress. And it just kind of goes out from underneath the pits, and you're hanging out with the dress, a very tight, tall dress.
You need something for Papa Bear.
100%. So here's the deal, True Classic, and we want you to use our promo code, okay? We want you to come to trueclassic.com/dangle. Again, it's trueclassic.com/dangle. Get ready to up your spring style and look cool like me. Level up your clothes. trueclassic.com/dangle. Shop now and elevate your wardrobe today.
The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Well, hi there. I just want to congratulate the Toronto Maple Leafs. They won their first playoff game last night. All right, Scotty Lawton with the first playoff goal win. I didn't even know the Red Wings had made the playoffs, but
me neither.
That felt great.
They looked it.
It was like 1993 all over again. Nikolai Borchevsky.
Man, neither of those teams tried, eh?
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. We will talk about the games. We will talk about the matchups. We have series previews coming out right now, which is amazing. But first, we must start with the announcement, which Steve made yesterday on the channel. It is going to be us down at SportChek at Maple Leaf Square. We're going to be on the second floor. We're going to be hanging out at the sports desk that's created there. And here's how it's going to work. You're going to get a $15 food voucher, so you can reserve that now. It links in the description. And then, and obviously, there's a limited amount for capacity reasons. And then beyond that, and this is what's really cool. So there will be some sound things that we have to worry about, right? So we're going to play the game in the store. You're going to be able to watch, which is great. And then during the game, Steve has to go to the SportChek Blue Room to do his little performance, his little watch along.
I got to go all the way back to Ajax?
No, you don't have to go all the way back to Ajax.
Oh.
No. And so you're going to be doing that in the Blue Room at SportChek.
Got it.
Which is cool.
Got it.
And then first two games, Jesse will be in the arena, so we're going to FaceTime him in at intermission. Steve will come out at intermission. We'll do everything from the desk, which will be cool. And by the way, the desk overlooks Maple Leaf Square, which is the sickest.
It is pretty sick.
And then during the games 3 and 4, Jesse will come out and be with us the entire time because Jesse isn't traveling to Ottawa with the Leafs. They didn't pay for his ticket. It's super weird.
Why not?
Yeah. No, the Via Rail was a little too much budget for SDPN.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Jesse's going to have to hang out with Steve and I. He's going to have to slum it.
We get a Via Rail sponsorship?
It'd be cool.
I love a Via Rail trip.
I love a Via Rail trip too. I love the bubble car. But anyway, SportChek. We're going to be there. We're going to be hanging out. You can get your tickets now, your vouchers now, in the description of this video. The other thing that's going on, so we're going to be, and this is what's really key to our scheduling here. So we've got the stream Sunday, and then Monday we have the SDP.
Yeah, the schedule came out since our last show.
Yeah, so we figured all that part out. So we're going to be down there doing the SDP at SportChek.
Yes.
So if you're in the area, you want to hang out, we're going to be there doing the SDP. Yes. And we will do an SDP after every Leaf game. We always do this. If you're new to the show, you might not know this, but let's say the game was on Saturday. Well, we'd be doing SDP Sunday. But this week, the way that it's worked out is great. We're Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we're going to be down there at SportChek at Maple Leaf Square every single day. And yes, I am doing a series myself. We just haven't quite decided yet. And this is, I wanted to bring it up because here's the thing, guys. I can do Edmonton or I can do Montreal.
No, you should do Vegas, Minnesota that has an 11 o'clock Eastern
That's
game,
a crazy one.
which is like, okay, forget us out East. I get it. It's 10 in Minnesota.
I know. That's a wild
What did they
start.
do to deserve that?
Now, the other thing I want to mention before we get into it is the SDPN Bracket Challenge is open.
Hooray!
And here's what's so great. So we are going to have prizes. We have literally thousands of people that have already signed up, which is amazing.
It's awesome.
Over 3,000.
Over 3,000 this morning.
Yeah.
That's
We get over 3,000 like yesterday.
awesome.
Yeah.
So great. And by the way, you have until the Leafs games start on Sunday to sign up. So you can sign up at any time between now and then. You're going to choose the winner of all 15 matchups, the series length in each
16,
first round
how dare
series. Sorry, 16 matchups. Yeah, I don't know why it says 15. And answer the tiebreaker question. Once your bracket is submitted, your picks are final. And you have until 7 o'clock Sunday night Eastern Standard. Now, once the tournament begins, you're going to be able to follow your picks in real time, and you can see your score updated as the games are decided. So you get 3 points each correct first round series length selection, only when you get the winner correct, though. So if you say it's 7 games and you pick Montreal, but the Capitals win, you don't get points for that. 10 points each correct first round pick, 25 each correct second round pick, 50 each correct third round pick, and 100 points each correct fourth round pick. I mean, that would be the final. So,
Yes, it would be.
So you'll get to do all that starting right now. You can also link in the description of this video or the audio, wherever you're doing it. But we wanted to make those 2 announcements out there because this is going to be really exciting. And you're going to be able to peek at Drew and Jesse and Steve and myself. I think Justin Fisher's going to be on there. Christina Weber, our VP of Sales, is really upset that she was not included in this. So maybe we should put her
It's
on
not
there too.
too late.
No, it's not too late. We
Yeah,
should put
she
her.
hasn't been not included.
Yeah. Well, she was like, well, wait a second. You announced all of them, but what about me? What if people want to see my picks? You know what?
I think it'd be funny if
Kiki,
she
we got
smoked
you.
us.
Oh, listen. What did they say? I think it was the other day. For a Stanley Cup, I think I saw this on the NHL account. For a Stanley Cup perfect bracket, it's like 0.003% chance of being perfect.
Oh, it's impossible.
So you have really, no matter what your knowledge is, you have as good a chance as anybody.
Yep.
You really do.
Yep.
And that's what's going to be so fun about this. There will be prizes. We've got some really cool stuff. But I can't say quite yet what it's going to be. But the stuff we've given away before, think more of that and bigger.
There you go.
How's that?
It's adequate. That's adequate.
Adequate? Is that an adequate answer? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we got all that done, let's talk about the sizzling, crazy, so high intense Leafs Detroit game last night.
Okay, so let's just lay it bare. Detroit got goals from Austin Watson and Justin Hall. The play of the night was a goal from Philip Myers. There was a goal with an extra attacker that was Pontus Holmberg and Mitch Marner assisting on a Chris Tanev goal. And then in overtime...
And Chris Tanev laughing about it.
And laughing about it. And then in overtime, it was Scott Lawton from Dakota Murmis.
That's how the playoffs will go.
That is the most Game 82 ass game I've ever heard of.
Jesse, how much fun did you have being down there in the arena?
It was the easiest game to watch all year long because it meant nothing. And all the guys knew nothing was on the line. And it's a weird game. The coaching staff, you're kind of just going through the motions. You're doing everything you usually do. But then the players, they're like, how do we try? Because you don't want to try too hard and get injured. And you don't want to try too hard and do anything because the game doesn't matter. So it was very odd, but it was easy. Just kind of watch and have fun. It's like a preseason game.
So you probably missed this because you were at the game, but Mike Johnson on TSN highlighted a play. I think it was early in the third period. John Tavares dangled someone in the corner. I don't remember who it was. I'm going to say JT Comfort. And he dangled him because I'm not going to engage you on the body. I'm not going to hit you. But because he dangled him, he hit him. He was like, hey, don't make me look stupid.
Yeah. What are you doing?
We have a gentleman's agreement out here, and you made me look stupid. So now I'm going to hit you.
I think it looks bad on Detroit, on their side of things, to lose this game in that fashion.
You think so?
When nothing's on the line, you can go all out. Your season's over, but you're not competing this weekend in the playoffs or anything, so you shouldn't be losing these types of games. It's not a
You
great
think
look.
they should have won this, eh? You think?
When you're up with 2 seconds to go, I think you should win a game. I feel like you should close out a game when you're in the lead with 2 seconds left, and they weren't able to hold that lead. And it's incredible that the Leafs won that game.
Well, I'm trying to find the standings on NHL.com. It's already unavailable because of the playoffs.
I think the Leafs have 106 points.
Every time I go to defend that website, it lets me down.
They
But
could just leave it up. I don't understand.
I
They
don't
just leave it up.
Just stop. Stop
up,
reinventing the wheel.
You got it?
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Okay, I don't know why I couldn't
yeah.
find it on mobile. But no, what I was trying to figure out is like, could Detroit have even moved up or down with a win or a loss?
Do you think
last night?
did they do themselves a favor by losing? And
Probably.
making their lottery odds worse or
I've
better?
told the story many times. I went to the Leafs' final game of the season and they won, and because of that win, their draft pick went from 5th overall to 7th.
The Red Wings moved from a tie for 21st place to a solo 21st place because they would have been tied with the Rangers at 85 points in league standings, and they moved 1 point ahead of them, and they got 86 points.
It's only the top 12 teams, or sorry, the bottom 12 teams that are in the lottery, right? Am I right on that?
Yeah.
I thought it was every team who didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, okay. Well, let me
not
check
sure.
that.
It's you're thinking about the odds to move up to first, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Every team's in the lottery.
The poor Calgary Flames, dude. 15th in the NHL, tied in points with the Blues, but they lose the tiebreaker. They are ahead of the Devils, the Habs, obviously the Canucks, Utah. Columbus, who narrowly missed the playoffs, is in 20th.
Fun fact,
Just above the Red Wings.
Fun fact, that's not fun at all if you're a Calgary Flames fan. Those 96 points are the most points ever to not make the playoffs.
Are you serious?
Wow.
Wow. Dude.
That stinks.
Oh,
That stinks. That's
14 overtime losses
It's
and
their
shootout
own
losses.
fault.
Yeah, it is. They do lose. Isn't this the same Calgary Flames team that? Well, it's not the same team, but didn't they lose like 17 in overtime a few years ago and miss the playoffs? There was some crazy stat about how many OTL points they had.
I seem to remember that. Dude, 7-1-2 in their last 10, and they gained -1 points on the Blues.
Wow.
Wait, no, I'm wrong. They gained a point on the Blues.
Yeah.
That sucks, man.
Yeah. Well, so it is sort of interesting, when you look at what you got.
Steve, do you know the other teams that had 96 points and did not make the playoffs? There's 3 other teams in history, and they're very recent.
They're very recent.
Yeah, 96 is the record. Calgary ties it, and they tie 3 other teams.
I want to say, wasn't it Detroit last year?
No.
Oh,
It's got to be.
Penguins?
Incorrect.
It's got.
They are all Atlantic teams.
Yeah, I figured. So could it be this? It's not the Sabres.
It is not the Sabres.
Yeah. So
You're running out of Atlantic teams.
I mean,
It's
the
not the
Leafs
Leafs.
because it's funny?
It's not the
No?
Leafs. No.
So
The Lightning?
It's not the Lightning.
What?
I think you've guessed all the
Florida
teams
Panthers.
except for the 3.
the Florida
Habs.
Panthers, the Habs.
It's the Panthers, Habs, and Bruins.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
It's the 18-19 Canadians. I don't remember that team. They were pretty good.
They were good. Yeah.
I don't really.
Yeah, they had 96 points. The 17-18 Panthers had 96 points, did not make it. And the 14-15 Bruins.
Oh, because they took a year off from relevance
Yeah.
and then immediately roared back.
So those are the other 3 teams with 96 points.
How
Not
crazy
in
is that?
playoffs, yeah. All Atlantic. I think that's a weird thing.
That is a
Calgary's
weird
the
thing.
All Atlantic teams, but yeah.
Calgary's got a lot to be proud of, I think, with that. Also, our good friend Nick Andrade decided to live bet the Flames in the last game when they were down 3-1, and he won $100.
oh my God.
He's like, should I live bet the Flames? And he wins $100.
He put $20 on them, and I'm like,
You're out of your mind.
you're out of your. Yeah, $2, Steve.
Yeah.
That's 10 times $2. $2 Steve would not be doing that. But he won $100.
So yeah, I think I think what I want to kind of focus on to start is not the series themselves, because we obviously have our series previews coming out. We'll talk a little bit about brackets and stuff like that. But I want to talk about the teams in the middle. Because as a Leaf fan, especially in the end of my formative years, so 18 to 22, right? The Leafs had this nasty habit of finishing just outside of the playoffs by a point or two and getting a mid-round pick. Now, the Leafs did themselves no favors by doing terrible things with their draft picks, right? But I'm thinking about seasons where J.S. Aubin goes on a run and the Leafs miss by a point, or J.S. Jaguar goes on a run and the Leafs miss by a point.
Yep.
I want to know who these teams are. So who are our mighty middle teams that need to, who could have benefited from just giving up? Because there's a lot of, once March hits, you get a lot of what the Sabres did,
Yeah.
which is, we win. It's like a mirage. We win a lot of games. We saw it from the Vancouver Canucks about 2-3 years ago with Bruce Boudreau taking over, right?
Yeah.
And they turned out to be a good team, but obviously, they had the one playoff run and they are where they are this year. So what teams are sort of in the middle, Jesse? Can we bring up the East and the Western Conference without wild card?
Well, this is with the power of hindsight, right? But the Flames, for example. We'll take the two teams that just missed, the Flames and the Blue Jackets. I don't think it would have made sense for either of them to sell. The
Flames had sold.
They were in the mix though.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Flames were in the mix. Blue Jackets were in the mix. Blue Jackets already have all their young guys. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What are we selling off for? They actually added. I think they traded. It was like a 4th round pick for Luke Cunnin. Nah, they'll be fine. That's worth a 4th round pick. Fine. Calgary, I'm not totally sure what they would have done. Vancouver's the obvious one. They were in the mix. They were. But hindsight being 2020, now you're losing Brock Besser for nothing. Mm-hmm. And you sewered him at the press conference saying, oh, man, you should have seen what I was offered for him. Why not? That is the easiest layup for Patrick Allvin. You know what? No, I believe in this group, and we're keeping Brock, and he's going to help us make the playoffs. That's all you had to say at the time. You would have looked stupid today, I guess.
Did you see that he was photographed driving out with a jersey that everybody on the team signed?
Yeah, supposedly it was for his girlfriend's mother.
Which is nice.
It's very nice. So depressing.
Can we bring those standings up, Jess? Can we throw them up?
Sure, yeah.
You got them? Because I think when I look at this, I'm like, okay. So in the Western Conference, Flames, it made sense. You had a high goaltender. You go for it. 41 wins, 96 points. There's only 3 other teams that have ever done that's crazy. Vancouver, Steve just made his point about. Then it falls off a little bit with the Utah Hockey Club. I think their situation's unique. They have enough draft picks.
Yeah,
they have enough prospects. Yeah. You got to kind of go for it.
Let the cards fall where they fall.
I think the Ducks are a lot better, and they're 80 points. They're a lot better than people have given them credit for. They had a really strong second half.
Seattle is a team that was sort of in the mix and sold to hell. So they did it right. Now they're going to get a pretty good pick out of this.
I honestly see no problems with kind of
any of the teams.
Any team in the West that.
If you were Nashville, I guess you believe that next year you can bounce back.
Yeah,
right.
Nashville, we all had them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So what they did, I don't think you sell the farm you're not tanking, right? Because you believe that this can be a quick rebuild to get back to where you should have been next season.
Yeah. Speaking of teams that we had in the playoffs, Jesse, the Chicago Blackhawks, thoughts?
The Chicago Blackhawks are what the Montreal Canadiens. I thought the Blackhawks would be the Canadiens this year. The way the Canadiens surprised everybody and made the playoffs. I was trying to predict which team was going to be that team this year, and I was wrong. I was wrong on which team it was going to be. I thought the Sharks would have been where the Ducks were. I thought the Blackhawks would have been where the Canadiens were. Next year, I just got to get better at predicting what that team's going to be.
That's pretty hard to do.
A lot of the Sharks being bad. And this is going to sound very truthery of me. Listen, their goal differential was minus 105. That's crazy. But I feel like so much of it was kind of artificial. Mackenzie Blackwood was playing great. And then they went and acquired Alexander Georgiev, who, I'm not trying to smack talk the guy, but Colorado, there's a reason he's not on the Avalanche anymore, and it's not because the Avs thought he was great.
The report yesterday is that they've told him he will not be back in San Jose.
Yeah, you think? And they didn't need to trade Fabian Zetterlund, and they did, and they got ahead of it because they're wow, Chicago's really got their A game. So they traded Cody Ceci, they traded Mikael Granlund. It's not just that they sold; they got ahead of it, and then look at that, they didn't win a single one of their final 10 games.
Jesse, the Leafs win was probably one of their last wins.
It might have literally been their last.
I don't know. We'll have to look at that. I don't know if that's the case. But yeah, I think it. Jesse, can we look at the Eastern Conference, please? So obviously we are well aware of the race for wild cards. Obviously, you had Columbus, you had Montreal, you had Ottawa, and they're all in. So I don't blame Columbus for doing what they did.
No.
Detroit is a question. 86 points. Now we can do a funeral on all of these teams, But for the Detroit Red Wings, if you're anyone other than Steve Yzerman, should you not have sold a Patrick Kane or a Tarasenko or someone else at the deadline? Or do you... they had a good end stretch, 6-2-2, but they just weren't in it.
You know what I would need to see is where they were on deadline day. Because
Detroit was in a playoffs.
I want to say they were in the mix, yeah.
Okay. And so were the Islanders, but they sold and got great return for Brock Nelson. Should the Rangers have sold?
The Islanders sold and then got good. Like, remember, the Islanders sold at the trade deadline, and then post-trade deadline, they were in that mix for that second wild card. And to be fair to these teams in the East, everybody was in the mix for that second wild card.
Yeah.
And especially according to Steve, who was like, the Penguins got a shot at some point, you know?
Yeah, I should have shut up.
But it was because that number's so low, that 91, it made it reachable for all of these teams. So, I don't know. The Islanders, they were in the mix even though they sold. And same with the Red Wings.
So the Sharks win against the Leafs that we were in San Jose for is literally the Sharks' last win of the season.
Wow. If only we'd known. That's so funny.
2 days later, they lost 6-1 to the Rangers, which we were there for. The next night, they lost 8-1 to the Kings. That was their last win of the season.
And then they didn't win a game in April.
Oh, no.
Wow. That's crazy. So
God bless you, Leafs.
So Jesse, when you look at, the Islanders sold, Pittsburgh did some retooling. I think the team, though, that gets my gold star for this season is the Boston Bruins, who were in a playoff spot.
Oh, do the thing properly.
And they did it properly. Now, Philadelphia edged them out for last place at the last game.
Did they?
Yeah, Philadelphia is technically the last place team in the East.
Wow.
But Boston is still in the mix for at least a top 5 pick.
A lottery pick. Yep.
At least a lottery.
Not jacked about that.
I think this might be an interesting snapshot. So these are the standings on March 7th, on trade deadline day, just to give perspective on where these teams were.
Yeah, so Detroit's a point out, yeah.
The
Damn.
Columbus Blue Jackets held the first wild card spot with 68 points. The Senators held the second wild card spot with 67 points. And then the Rangers were just outside, tied with the Sens at 67. The Canadiens had 66. The Red Wings had 66. The Bruins had 64, 3 points out.
Wow.
And the Islanders had 63, 4 points out of the playoffs. Everybody was in this mix all season long.
Okay, here's where the criticism comes in. Like, here, just leave it up for one more second. Boston is 2-6-2 in their last 10 on that date. Detroit, who, yes, is 1 point out, had lost 5 straight and was bloody 3-6-1. You stink. Pull the chute. That's enough.
Before that losing streak, they're in that wild card spot, right? And then leading up to that trade deadline, they lose that 5 in a row, and they're 1 point out. So you're like, how do we just abandon everything if before this we were good and now we're 1 point out? So it's tricky. I don't know where to land on if you think. Do you think they should have sold more? Is that the question?
Who's this, Detroit?
Any of these teams? Like, is that what we're supposed to be looking at with these middle teams?
Boston got rid of everything that wasn't nailed down.
I think they did it right.
Dude, they traded Justin Brazeau.
I think, listen, no disrespect to the Islanders for selling Brock Nelson. I completely get that. But I do question in New York, and maybe we can do a topic on this later, in the offseason. With Lou Lamoriello at the helm, you got 63 points in 61 games. At that point, there was 4 teams ahead of you that you would have to jump just to be on the outside of the wild card looking in. And I know that it's quote unquote possible, but we're now talking 2 or 3 years that these guys have missed the playoffs, and they seem to, with the exception of the Brock Nelson thing, who they wanted desperately to re-sign and would have re-signed if he had wanted to. I'm questioning the New York Islanders' sort of direction here.
Yeah,
What is the job?
The Islanders were in the playoffs last season.
They were?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember they snuck in?
Yeah.
Oh, over...
They fired, I think it was Lane Lambert, actually.
Yeah, they were in the playoffs last year.
They bring in Patrick Waugh, and they were the team that we were all like, look out. I bet they're going to give the Hurricanes hell.
right.
And then,
and then they did.
All right, well-
I picked the Islanders in that series.
I think I might have too.
I think it was a sweep. Yeah,
4-1.
I'm not sure. 4-1. Oh, they got one game.
They got one game. Okay. Well, I'm wrong.
We're stupid.
I'm wrong. There it is. What do I know?
You guys want to do a tankathon?
Yeah.
Let's reset so here's the draft lottery simulator is on the screen. Maddie, there you go. Thank you. I'm going to hit sim lottery.
Oh, baby.
The Sabres moving up 6, the Rangers moving up 9. So we got Buffalo, New York, San Jose, Chicago, Nashville, Philadelphia. I like this because Boston gets only the 7th pick.
Yeah, that's what we all have our eyes on, right?
Yeah. Can Boston fall 10 spots? Because I would like that.
You know what? I'll take 2. Let's pour. Seattle goes down 2. Anaheim goes down 1. So does Pittsburgh. So did the
Can you read a little slower for the audio listeners, Adam?
Sorry. Okay, so
top 5.
Buffalo at 1, New York Rangers at 2, San Jose Sharks at 3, Chicago at 4, and Nashville at 5.
I feel bad for San Jose.
That kind of does suck, yeah. But listen,
3rd overall pick, they'll live.
yeah,
but you had the first.
Whatever.
let's sim it again.
Sure.
Let's sim it again. Let's see what else we can get here. Reset. And then a Simmeroo. San Jose.
There you go.
Nobody really moved except for
Utah moved up 10 spots.
So it'd be San Jose, Chicago, Nashville, Utah moving up 10. Last year, remember I did that draft lottery stream before one of my games?
Oh, yeah.
And nobody moved?
Really?
It was like nobody moved. Like it was, if you go back and you watch it, go, well, that was the most boring thing ever. Like nobody moved. Nobody.
Yeah, because the Sharks got Celebrini.
Yeah. And I remember the whole thing was Pittsburgh would lose their first pick, or if they weren't in like the top 10. So Dubas was on because they bring the general managers onto the Zoom.
Yeah.
And then once it was clear that they were not in the top 10, he immediately logged off. Like live broadcast.
This year's so weird because it's kind of clumped together at the top of the draft.
Sure.
Like the top 5 is really stock full of talent. The guy who is projected to go number 1 has barely played in Schaefer, who I called him Schaefer because I forget his first name. Like that's how out of sight, out of mind he's been. All eyes are on next year. Gavin McKenna looks cracked.
Yeah.
This guy, honest to God, this 17-year-old who cannot be drafted till next year, I think you could plop him in the NHL right now. He'd be fine.
Do you think, last year with Celebrini, we saw it with McDavid, we saw it with Matthews. There was a lot of intentional tanks in those years.
Yep.
Something we're going to have to be on the lookout for this summer after the dust settles is who's intentionally tanking.
The bad teams next year are going to be so damn bad.
Which, when that happens, it inflates the good teams' numbers. That's where you get
That is true.
Boston and Florida and all these guys getting crazy numbers because teams are like, yeah, screw it. We're not doing this season.
Next year, listen, some of your teams are going to suck next year, and you're going to be real sad about it. And I'm here to tell you, what great news. How exciting.
How exciting.
You get to be bad in 2026? Good for you. Gavin McKenna's ridiculous.
I remember one of the themes of our entire 2015, 2016 season was, will the Leafs get the first overall pick? It was the question.
Oh, yes.
We've talked about for the last 10 years, will they get out of the first round? Now, or when I think back, I'm like, that was the entire thing. It was like, let's talk Marlies more than Leafs. So anyway,
Adam.
Yeah.
What if I told you Gavin McKenna has 16 points in 9 playoff games? Would you be impressed?
Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, what if I told you I was lying and that's just his assist? He actually has 22 points
Oh my God.
in 9 games.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Have they lost any of those games? I hope not.
Not many.
Not many.
Not many. This regular season, he had 41 goals, 88 assists, 129 points in 56 games. He cannot be drafted until next year.
Wow.
He had 97 points last year.
Tim's retrospective rookie hockey cards. They're available right now at Tim's. Make sure you download the Tim's app. Steve, open it up. I've been tap dancing for you to open it, and Jesse was like, please.
I like to shake it.
Why do you like to shake the cards before you open them? There's like a...
I don't know. It makes me feel good.
Yeah?
like-
Do you still get that buzz opening a pack of hockey cards that you did when you were a little kid?
I got a head rush just now.
Yeah?
Just now.
Okay, all right.
go.
So I'm not going to look at mine. Now, here's the thing. The good old days are back thanks to the new Tim's retrospective rookie cards. You can unwrap the early years of your favorite hockey players, including, Steve, who do you have?
I have Luke Hughes' initial strides, première coupe de patin.
Oh, good friend.
That's what it says. This appears to be an insert card, so it is not one of the commons.
Oh, I like that. That's good. That means it's rarer. Jesse, what do you have?
I have Kendall Coyne Schofield.
Oh,
And it's funny because like the rookie cards go back to last season. So like them in the OG PWHL jerseys and then them in the next level PWHL jerseys where they actually have jerseys. So it's kind of cool.
I have Jeremy Swayman, and it's same as Jesse's. It's a side-by-side, and it's Jeremy from 4 years ago. Now, here's the thing. You can get stars like Claude Giroux, Jonathan Marchessault, Mario Lemieux, Doug Gilmour, Nathan McKinnon. They're all in there. Here you go, Steve. There you go. You can take that if you want to. Now, Tim's retrospective rookie cards are all over. Go to Tim Hortons, your local Tim Hortons, or download the Tim's app. Start collecting your new retrospective rookie hockey cards. Every pack features current and retired NHL and PWHL, as you saw with Jesse, players from their rookie year. Plus, the chance to win prizes like autographed jerseys. But we don't like that. We wouldn't want an autographed jersey, would we?
That's dumb.
We
I would.
absolutely would want an autographed
okay.
jersey. Yeah. Tim's app or your local Tim Hortons. Outside of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Jesse and Steve, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What playoff team this year, East or West, or we can do East and West, whatever you want, has impressed you the most with their play?
What playoff?
Do you want to? Yeah. So what playoff team you're like, man, they're even better than I thought, or what an improvement, or it can be one team or it can be two, whatever you guys want to do.
I'll throw the Habs in there. Like,
Don't pick more than one in the Eastern Conference.
Oh,
or I will
okay.
throw you out.
All right.
You pick the Habs. Go. Why the Habs?
Well, because I thought they needed to take a step this year.
Would you say
I didn't necessarily mean they had to make the playoffs. They just needed to be in the mix. And you got to make it, right? Like, being in the mix is one thing. Actually making it, as we saw at the very end, is easier said than done. Mm-hmm. Like, some people made fun of me because the Habs, their last, whatever it was, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think they were 7-2-1 or 7-1-2. And then I said they're not playing their best hockey by any stretch of the imagination. And people were like, well, pick one. And I'm like, well, you saw how it was. They had these opportunities to clinch and took every opportunity to blow it, right? But the goaltending they got, Lane Hudson just getting better and better as the season went on. Like, you really saw in that Habs Leafs game at the end of the season, even though the Leafs outshot them by a wide margin, like, Lane Hudson is that hockey team. They're getting more and more fun to watch up front. They don't back down from anything either, whether the guy in the lineup is small or big. What a rebuild done right in Montreal. Nailed it.
Jesse, do you have one?
In the East?
East or West or whatever you want.
One of the teams I think has gone underrated is the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh,
I think it's because of their first round matchup against Florida, the reigning Stanley Cup champions. Until somebody beats them, they're kind of still the Cup champs. People will still believe that Florida can get it done. But Tampa this season, I don't know if a lot of people remember, it's their first season without Steven Stamkos.
They lost their captain.
And they went in a really bold direction, trading a guy like Sergachev and trading away their letting their captain leave in free agency and rebuilding their entire core just because he's gone, you know? But you still have the guys like Kucherov and Point and Hedman and all those guys and Vasilevsky. And this year, they seem to have put it together again after a couple down seasons of playing too much hockey because of all those trips to the Stanley Cup final, and they flame out in the playoffs really quick. And then now they're kind of back, and it's gone under the radar because of the better teams that are just like slightly above them. They're not up there with the Jets or the Capitals, and then they didn't even win their division because Toronto took that. But they're right there with all of those teams. No team this year scored more goals than the Tampa Bay Lightning. They led the league in goals for. They're in the top 6 in power play, penalty kill, goals against, and goals for. They lead that category. All the 4 major categories, they're right there amongst the top 6. And I feel like they're going to surprise a couple teams in a couple rounds here in the playoffs. So
they are the top team of And what I mean by that is when you see this guy on the ice, you go, okay, let me run the names. I know he's a bit over the hill, but Cam Atkinson,
Pretty
in the playoffs.
I mean, Leaf killer.
Anthony Cirelli,
Selke.
Luke Glendening, annoying.
That's not the name I would have.
Zemgus Girgensons, pain. Yanni Gord, Brandon Hagel, Nick Paul. I know the stars are the stars, clearly, on this roster, but there are a lot of guys who are just like, fuck.
Oh, they're just hard to play.
You just wouldn't want to play against them. Whether or not you outskill them, they're still a pain in the ass. And
they're not players you want to run into in games 5, 6, and 7.
Yes, exactly. Now, you guys both picked Eastern Conference teams. Do you want to pick a Western Conference team that also follows that?
Sure. Give me the Winnipeg Jets.
Wow.
Just a team that wrote off a few years ago and somehow keeps raising the bar for themselves. Mm-hmm. If Kevin Adams has a hard time recruiting guys to Buffalo because of the lack of palm trees, if Buffalo has 0 palm trees, Winnipeg has negative 500. They have a hard time attracting guys to that place, and they've still consistently put together a winning program.
And Iafallo and Pionk have both re-signed.
Yep, right before the playoffs, which I'm sure makes guys feel pretty good. You locked Hellebuck up to that nice deal. You locked Scheifele up to that nice deal. And it was questioned at the time. We were like,
yeah,
all right, I guess you're not making significant changes here.
Hellebuck at 7.5 is highway robbery at this point.
And Scheifele, I want to say
I think it was the same, 7.5.
Roughly that. Like, yeah, man. They maybe one of the most disrespected President's Trophy winning teams over the last long while. They deserve some kudos.
Jesse, who would you pick in the West?
In the West, I'd go with Colorado because it's absolutely unfair.
Absolutely.
That mid-season, this team adds 5 guys, and one of the guys is postseason. We'll start with Gabriel Landeskog. And then you go down the list of the other guys who were added mid-season. Nietzsche, Nelson, Coyle, Drury. That is 5 guys who could be dominant on any team. You know, they can start anywhere on any team. If you need them to fill in on any part of your forward group, they're there. And the Avs just added these out of nowhere.
They got Eric Johnson back.
Yeah, and Eric Johnson too, but like, who cares?
I know. It's just fun. That one's more just fun.
Adding those 4 guys to a roster that was already pretty good, you know, and then but you swap out all those pieces and you bring in these players. Like, I think Colorado remade themselves into one of the deepest teams in the league, and then on the back end, obviously, you have a stud defenseman like Cale Makar. That's a luxury teams don't have. You know, it's something that a lot of the Stanley Cup winning teams have had over the last few years, is that bona fide number 1 puck moving defenseman who can score goals and play great defense. And the Avs, they always are going to have that as long as they have Cale Makar, and it's dangerous in the playoffs. And then now they also have decent goaltending with Blackwood.
They were so fast, they almost cut you off. Like, man, if only the Avalanche had goaltending, how about 2? Bang! And they just throw it down on the table. And, like, never has a team actually sounded like it was listening to their fans. Like they had the room bugged.
It's like everything Drew wanted.
Yeah.
every time he complained, the Avs were like, you know what? We heard you, Drew.
Yeah. I put the
So,
emphasis
you want
on
this?
those additions in the forward group because that was the big complaint, that they were so light in the forward group. It was McKinnon and that's it, you know, and then you're trying to find other pieces to go around.
The Middlestat thing didn't work.
No,
so they moved off it.
And then now they have one of the best forward groups, and, you know, Lindgren too, bringing him in on the back end. Like, they're so solid.
And bringing Johnson back just for the vibes.
There's no holes.
You know, Jess, I think you make a really good point, because general managers sometimes have an ego where, hey, I made this trade. So they traded Bo Byram, they got Middlestat back, and it didn't work. And some GMs will be like, no, but it will. No, but I am smart. Christmas McFarlane, basically is like, well, this didn't work. I'll flip somebody else.
They've also, if you go and look at some of the guys they've tried, they get creative too. Jonathan Drouin is a project. Like, I know he's Nathan McKinnon's friend, but like, before he arrived in Colorado, that's a project, a high reward project.
And it has worked out quite well.
And he's rewarded them. They got Oliver Shillington.
Yep. Yeah.
And it didn't really work out there, but they tried. Mm-hmm. Ryan Lindgren's the next one. And I know he was terrible. He was terrible in New York this season. I think that one's going to work out for them.
I think you're right too, because most of his career he's been very good.
Yeah, guys don't just forget.
And the Rangers were just bad. For Drouin, just to focus on him for a second, obviously he's always been more assist guy.
Yeah, of course.
but he had 56 points in 79 games last year. This year, a lot of injuries to start the year, like most of the Avs lineup, but still 37 points in 43 games.
Pretty damn good for a guy.
$2 million?
Yeah, for a guy you didn't know was even going to be an everyday player.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I want to, so my two teams, I just want to quickly shout out. So you talk about the Montreal Canadiens. I think the Washington Capitals. This is a team that squeaked in at the last week of the playoffs last year, and then lost. Really and the Rangers just crushed them. That was the sweep.
Yes.
And this year, the way Carberry's got them playing, the way those trades worked out, I'm talking about the Kemper Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. I'm talking about the Jake Chychrun trade. Go back and look at what they traded for Jake Chychrun. It ain't much.
Not a lot.
And they, all of a sudden, they're just... I'm curious about the fun-loving halves playing the Caps, because the Caps don't ever let up. When they're at their best, it's like they're in your shit all the time, and it's annoying. And that's why they win.
I know Jack-Eye is not an everyday player on the Canadiens, but I almost wonder if you have him out there just to try to get Tom Wilson to go.
Oh yeah,
that's his only job
is to try to take that trade off.
Play him at forward if you have to.
Yeah,
like
but then he also has to play hockey.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
That's why I said you play him at forward if you have to.
No, nobody. Yeah. Nobody wants that, Steve.
The one in the West for me is a team that I'm
a Leaf fan. What do you mean?
The one in the West I did not believe in because they've been sliding and I'd put too much faith in them before. The LA Kings. Darcy Kemper trade worked out really, really well. I was like, what? How much money are you paying Joel Edmondson? It doesn't matter.
We're a few days away from finding out if they're going to make us all look stupid again.
Well, that's okay. So let me ask you guys this. In your brackets, forget the season preview. In your brackets, when you're really laying it on the line here.
Oh, yeah.
Did either of you pick the Edmonton Oilers?
I did not.
Jesse, did you pick the Edmonton Oilers?
No.
A lot of people are not. Are we going to look stupid?
And this is the equivalent of emphatically picking the Leafs to beat the Bruins last year. Except, I mean, the difference is the Leafs were not better in the regular season than the
We
Bruins.
also just didn't know that Matthews and Nylander were going to get sick.
Yeah, we didn't know that. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like, no, this time they're doing it. Like, based on what? Based on what? Have you lost your mind? But the difference is this is 4 straight.
Yeah.
They better not let us down, man. I'm going to be, because I tell you what, hey, maybe this year will be different. I'm never picking that team ever again if LA loses. Ever again. I'm going friggin' Goliath on every pick from now on.
I'll learn my lesson.
Yeah.
Not the first 4, the fifth time I'll learn.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Watch, they're going to play again next year, and we're all going to go, the friggin' Kings. And then the Kings win in like 4.
Yeah. Also, I feel like Anze Kopitar, who is still just so unbelievable, 37 years old, 67 points this year in 81 games. And, as we went through in the NHL player poll, he's so well respected. The last 4 years, the lowest amount of points he's gotten is 67. And that is this year and 3 years ago.
He's pretty good.
And he's known as one of the best defensive centers in the league.
One of the most
And Phil Deneau is also on that team.
Oh, yeah. Go look at his goal total.
Who, Kopitar?
No, Deneau. He essentially didn't score this year.
Really?
Basically, yeah.
Oh my God, that doesn't surprise me.
He put up a decent amount of points, but he's
8 goals.
8 goals.
Didn't need him to.
Didn't need him to.
Win Byfield, baby.
Kopitar is he's in the middle of one of the most underrated careers ever. I don't know how many people really. Oh man, you know what I want to talk about today? Anze Kopitar.
LA Kings fans, but outside of
right. Well, yeah, obviously, but the way we talk about Crosby all the time, I know Crosby's better, but we don't give Kopitar his flowers. There was a little pocket of time where we did.
Mm-hmm. And that's when they were winning the cup, I think.
Yeah, obviously, and he was getting nominated for the Hart. We just don't give him enough props.
Steve, Jesse, what year was Anze Kopitar drafted?
2003.
Jesse.
I'll side with Steve.
2005.
Oh, damn.
Did not play a game till 2009, though. Isn't that nuts? Oh, sorry, that's playoffs. Never mind. Liar. Liar, pants on fire.
Yeah, that didn't make
He played the next year. 06-07.
He was drafted in the Crosby draft.
That's right.
Every game he's played was post year-long lockout.
Yeah, and this is a guy who only once has dipped below 50 points in a full season.
How many games do you play?
He is what in that
52 points.
47 games.
Oh my God.
42 points, 47 games. He has 1,273 points.
Yeah, dude. He's an all-timer. He's a hockey Hall of Famer.
He's an absolute first ballot Hall of Famer. I wonder if they go on that sort of run.
No. Shea Weber gets in. You make Kopitar wait. Yeah, Matty was picking up what I was putting down. No, you make him wait.
Now, I want to ask you guys, we are doing our series previews.
Yep.
How much of a preview thing do you want me to do with this show? How far down that rabbit hole should we go? Do we save the previews for the preview section, or do we? What do you want to do? You want to talk a little bit?
Jesse,
Want to do 5 minutes on each series, something like that? What do you think?
Sure.
Okay.
I think 3.
3? Okay.
2 even.
Give me 2 minutes on the Jets and Blues.
I think the two teams are closer on paper than they appear in the standings. If you just go by the standings, it's not even close. The Jets kill the Blues in every category. There's something to be said about playoff performance, and if we're going down that rabbit hole, you take points away from the Jets and give them to the Blues. But I think losing Dylan Holloway is a little too devastating to the Blues. I give the series to the Jets.
Jesse, 2 minutes on Dallas, Colorado.
Dallas is so hurt. Like Jason Robertson going out in the last game of the season is insanely bad luck. Mira Heiskanen's not going to be back at least for the first round. They're hoping for the second round.
Oh, really?
If they can make it.
So I didn't know that when I made my bracket.
I don't know if everybody knew that, but CJ reported it like 2 days ago, a day ago.
They're dead.
Yeah, I just think they're too busted, and Colorado seems to be firing at all cylinders. I think they're too deep to lose this series.
How does that change then? If they were healthy, you guys probably have this series going to 7, right?
Yes.
Right?
And
or Jesse, maybe not.
I could be tempted.
I'm picking the same team.
You're picking the same team, but but how many games do you have it going to now?
Oh, that I don't remember. I don't remember what I actually put in my bracket. I could be convinced to give it to Dallas if they were healthy, but I have Colorado.
No, but I'm just talking about with the injuries. How does that change your games projection?
Let's say 6.
Okay, only 1.
Yeah.
And Gabriel Landeskog's back.
I'm honest. Okay, so here's the way I look at it. There are teams that get players back, and but you take points away because you don't know what percent that player is going to be at. Landeskog is not that. He's pure icing on the cake. If he's no good, I don't think they have any problems taking him out of the lineup.
Right.
He hasn't played in 3 years.
2
Would
minutes,
anyone be shocked?
2 minutes on Vegas, Minnesota. Gentlemen.
This is the most egregiously... Here, I'm going to try to bring it up. First round schedule. This is the most egregiously scheduled series in the playoffs. Their games are, at least by Eastern Standard Time, all different for games 1 through 4.
Give it to us.
10 p.m., 11 p.m., 9 p.m., 4 p.m. How does anyone from either fan base watch this series? Minnesota in particular, you're asking people from Minnesota to stay up until, the game starts at 9 for game 1 and 10 for game 2. Crazy. Even game 3 starts at 8. That is, and so, wait, when does game 4 then start? It starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday?
Jeez.
Anyway, let's talk about the actual hockey. Producer Hayden is cross with me. He's not happy with how disrespected the Minnesota Wild are. And honestly, I understand his argument. Mm-hmm. I look at them on paper now that they have everyone back. That's not a team that gets dominated. It's just not. But what percent of these guys are you getting? And it's Vegas, who you know is going to play a big, heavy, grinding, soul-sucking game. Vegas.
Jesse, do you have anything to add to that, or do you want me to move on to LA, Edmonton?
92% of bets right now are on Vegas to beat Minnesota. This is the most lopsided series in terms of the betting market. I don't think it's going to be that close.
So
that's an omen that Minnesota is going to do the impossible.
Should you put a $2 Steve on the Wild and just hedge?
Oh, that is the series I think is going to be the shortest, and that right there made me go like, I might be able to turn this $2 into 12 or something.
The Los Angeles Kings and Edmonton Oilers, 4 years in a row. We just talked about it. 2 minutes, gentlemen.
You know, I really like Charlie Brown's chances of kicking the football. I think he's due. I think Lucy's going to cooperate this time. I think he's going to nail that thing, and it's going to go right over Snoopy's house.
Jesse?
It's so wrong to pick the Kings because you're a fool to think that, hey, fourth time's the charm, but I'm picking the Kings. So
Yeah, guilty as charged.
I got Kings in like 6 or something like that. I don't know.
I'm your fool.
Yeah.
I might have said 6.
I forget how many games, but I definitely picked the Kings, and I feel like I'm going to be really dumb.
There's a couple series where I'm like, okay, I'm picking this team to win. But if you told me the other team runs them the fuck, not just wins, runs them the fuck over, I wouldn't be shocked, and this is one of them. It's either Kings in 6 or Oilers in like 4.
What about Carolina, New Jersey, guys?
That's the other one. I think everyone's...
Because Jack Hughes is a huge loss.
Of
but
course.
this is still a pretty deep New Jersey team.
Everyone sold their devil stock, and I'm buying the dip. I still pick Carolina to win, but like what?
That is not buying the dip.
No, it's not.
Jesse, is that buying the dip?
No,
It doesn't
I
feel like buying the
considered
dip?
buying the dip. I still think Carolina's going to win, but if the Devils win, I wouldn't be shocked in the least. Everyone's underrating that decor. I know they lost Jack Hughes, but this is a great opportunity for them to change their style. Everyone's underrating that decor.
Jesse.
I don't think Steve knows how buying things work.
Nope, that's why I don't do it.
Yeah.
Carolina,
Maddie, what did you just say?
I said, wait, so what team are you picking?
I'm picking
You just
the over.
like you were just like Jesse, and I was like, wait, what?
He said, I'm buying the dip. I'm going to pick Carolina. Well, like, what?
I'm taking the over, everyone. I'm taking the over. No,
Who did you pick?
Carolina.
Okay. I
I said it 4 times.
I picked New Jersey. I think a lot of people are underrating the...
Oh, are you buying the dip?
I am actually buying the dip. I picked New Jersey because the only thing they've really struggled through this second half where they've missed Jack Hughes is goal scoring. And in the playoffs, we know what happens. Goal scoring disappears. And their power play is good. Their penalty kill is good. They're good at stopping the puck. And I feel like if they can just muster up a couple of goals, whether it's on special teams or just at 5-on-5, like there's a chance they can win this series. It'll play out like Carolina can't get their own side of the puck going in terms of finishing the ability, the same way they lost the Rangers series where they had a bunch of chances, but they couldn't capitalize on them. So if it plays out like that, I think New Jersey can win, and I've picked New Jersey.
I think it depends to what Jake Markstrom are you getting, right?
Oh, the least predictable goaltending of any series. What Markstrom are you getting? What Anderson are you getting?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
it could come
Anderson.
down to Alan Kochetkov. Like if it...
I would take Jake Allen in that. I love Jake Allen. I think he rocks.
Highest save percentage out of all 4, worst record out of all 4.
Hilarious.
Make it make sense.
Washington, Montreal. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, guys, because it should be Montreal's playing with house money. They have a good time. They go home. But sometimes you get a team like that and they go on a real run.
Yeah.
And, Canadians fans will tell you, hey, we just got Demidov. Lane Hudson's going to win the Calder. Like, this team's a lot better than any of you are giving it credit for.
So let me start by saying Capitals win the series. All right. So now where do we go from there? Here's how Montreal could conceivably win.
Mm-hmm.
Demidov is transformational for the roster. We haven't seen enough to know that totally yet.
Yep.
Obviously, he had the really good first game. What's Logan Thompson at?
Mm-hmm.
And if Logan Thompson falters or can't play, how good is Charlie Lindgren going to be?
Right.
That's really important. And are the Capitals refocused from the Ovi chase? Because I think that is an underratedly, really emotionally exhausting experience. And it's difficult to go from we're these unreal world beaters, we're just focused on playing amazing hockey, to feeding Ovi every night, to like they got their ass kicked like a few times.
Sure they did.
In the middle of all that.
Yeah.
They lost that game 4-1. Of course they did. Like mission accomplished. The game's over. Who gives a damn? Lose 7-0 to Columbus. Like there was plenty of evidence that the Capitals took their foot off the gas. If they find a way to put their foot back on it, I don't think Montreal, even playing at their best, has a chance. But if Montreal's dialed and the Caps aren't, the series could go either way.
Got it. Jess, what do you think on this one?
On December 1st, Montreal was 31st in league standings.
Wow.
They were
Really?
only,
Really?
They
Wow.
were only ahead of the Chicago Blackhawks by 1 single point. Wow. So since that point of December 1st to make the playoffs in April, it's an incredible run. They've been hot. They've been over that stretch the hottest team in hockey, clearly. But watching how they've played in the last week, where things were actually on the line,
Yes.
even though they've had a really good stretch of hockey, as you mentioned before, and we haven't had an episode since they clinched a playoff spot, but watching that game in Carolina where sticks were squeezed a little too tight, not getting the extra point against Toronto over the weekend, and then you have another game where you don't get the extra point again in Demidov's debut, it feels to me that they're just a little too young and that they're going to be in this series. I think it's going to be a long one, but they won't be able to pull out the extra victory to get it done. So I think it's going to be a close series, but I got to lean Washington.
I've seen it said shades of Capitals Leafs in 2017,
That's all I've heard.
which was a really fun series, but it should be mentioned the Leafs lost.
Yeah, the Leafs, what was it? All 6 games go to overtime or something? Or one goal
all
games?
6 by 1 goal, 5 went to overtime.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be something like that. But every time there's an OT game, you're like, if they can just get this one, they'll probably fall a little short in this series. So that's where I'm leaning.
Okay. Let's talk about the last 2 remaining, Tampa and Florida. This one's a hard one to call. It really is.
Yeah.
It's because I think this one, kind of like Dallas, Colorado, if both teams are healthy-ish,
Yeah,
this is a completely different conversation.
100%.
How healthy, and it has to be asked, are the Florida Panthers? Because the Lightning seem to be pretty fine.
Well, and Florida beat them so emphatically in the playoffs last year, but I mean, what makes it different? All the players you lost in the offseason, so no Montour anymore. You add Seth Jones, but you lose Aaron Ekblad for the first 2 games.
OEL's not there anymore, too. And he was a
OEL's
big
not
part of
there anymore. I mean, Lorenz, Pozo, Stenlund was so underrated for them. I loved watching him play in the last playoff run. He was so important for those depth minutes. The allergies are really starting to pile up as
can
the show
tell.
goes. Yeah, sorry.
Did you get the stuff I told you to get?
No, I didn't. I
Yes.
forgot.
Get Benadryl. Told him to get it.
So anyway, here's, like Jesse mentioned earlier in the show, Tampa is such a ridiculous wagon. They are a different team from last year. And Florida hasn't shown any evidence that they're even kind of healthy. Like, I know they don't care about the regular season, but it's really difficult to just turn it on. It was either last year or it was within the last few years. The Avalanche went into the playoffs having lost like 7 straight, or something like that, and then they ended up winning in the first round. I think that's the exception, not the rule. What percent of Matthew Tkachuk are you getting? You have absolutely no idea. What percent of Sam Bennett are you getting? What percent of, I mean, Aaron Ekblad, I'm sure he's going to be perfectly healthy. He was suspended for being too healthy. But like, is there going to be any rust there? There's just too many question marks with Florida. Meanwhile, there's Tampa, like there's none here. What are you questioning? We're great.
And we're healthy.
So I have to pick Tampa.
Jesse?
I already said my piece on Tampa. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then last
Tampa
one.
in 2.
Last one.
Whoa.
The conversation with the Toronto-Ottawa series has been great. I love this. One of the things that keeps coming up is, does Toronto have an answer for Brady Tkachuk? What are they going to do about Brady Tkachuk? Brady Tkachuk, who struggled a little bit with health since Four Nations and was pulled out of a game, but Travis Green was like, he's fine, ready to go.
I didn't look into that.
I didn't either. How, as Leaf fans, do you feel about this series? Not what the outcome is. How does it make you feel right now in your chest?
This is nothing like last year. Leafs were heading into a series, no home ice advantage against the damned Bruins, playing poorly. Now they're a bigger, tougher, more playoff-oriented team who just won their division and are playing great. So I'm actually trying to look at this series like a normal fan would. A fan of any other team. A fan of any other team would look at this and go, I like our chances, Leafs in 6. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm going to say. The only thing that is making you not pick the Leafs in this series, well, it could be two things. Number one, the Leafs did not play Ottawa very well in the regular season. But number two, the Leafs are the Leafs.
Jesse, do you feel like the Leafs are the Leafs? Are they the self-defeating franchise?
No, I think it's a tad ridiculous, the narratives going around this series, because a lot of people are like, Brady Tkachuk, he's going to like mean mug his way to 4 victories against the Leafs. And I'm just like, what if the Leafs just have Austin Matthews and they score a bunch of goals and they win?
Well, and like, oh man, you saw him at the Four Nations. You know his team lost, eh?
He wasn't that good by the end of it.
No, he could have won it. No, Binnington is the only reason he didn't literally score the tournament winning goal.
I think a lot of people are predicting this judging this series and analyzing it based on voodoo on both sides.
Interesting.
Where it's like this imaginary presence is going to be able to will the Sens into victory through all of their players are going to play like Wayne Gretzky because they have Brady Tkachuk. And then the other side, the Leafs are going to lose this series because they've lost a bunch of series, when I don't think they're really thinking about that with the amount of new bodies that they've brought in, with a new head coach, with the guys who are just playing better this season, and they're all healthy. Yeah. They've been surprisingly healthy this year. I don't think the series is going to be particularly close if it goes to the way it's supposed to.
Whoa, clip it. Whoa. Okay. So, and I guess I get that. I understand that. So, okay, I'm going to be Leaf fan here. Anxious mess.
Okay.
Scarred, deeply scarred.
Understandable.
In the past, what different regimes have done is they've tried to insert veteran player here, and that will teach the young guys. And so they did it with, this is pre-cap problem. So they did it with Patrick Marleau. They did it with Joe Thornton. They did it with Jason Spezza. They did it with Wayne Simmons.
Well, just inserting a tough guy and being like, we are tough now.
Kyle Clifford.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
And so what's interesting is what they seem to have done this time, obviously with a little bit more cap space because the cap is actually going up, but they made shrewd moves this offseason. I don't care when Chris Tanem's contract expires.
Oh,
I really don't care.
Love.
I don't care when OEL's contract expires. What I find really interesting about the way this team is played, first off, huge on defense and very good on defense, which is great. Chris Tanev was, again, amongst the best defensive defensemen in the league again this year. I'm wondering, for you, does that change any of the anxieties that you had in previous years, having guys not just on defense, but on forward, a Scott Laughton? As much as people have maligned his play, he's all vibes. Did you guys see the, Jesse, you would have probably been there for this quote. He was talking about yesterday at one point how he just watched a Leafs Senators highlight pack on YouTube from the early 2000s.
That's my people.
And yeah, he's just that. And you look at, the emergence of a guy like Bobby McMahon, who when he's on his game is fast and like a freight train, the emergence of Matthew Nyes. So you get some old, you get some young, it feels a lot different from last year.
Yeah, Vegas is a big, mean team. And they ran into Dallas last year, who's also a big, mean team. We're acting like Brady Tkachuk's the only player on earth. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a back and forth. The Leafs are not going to back down. The Sens are not going to back down. It's going to be tough. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. You know what I've asked myself recently is, we spend a lot of time talking about why the Leafs can do it, and even more time talking about why they can't. And my question is, would we know a Stanley Cup worthy team if we saw it?
No, I don't think so.
We might be looking at it.
I didn't know you felt that way about the Sens.
We might be looking at that too.
All right.
I think everything's been so quiet around the Leafs because they've been winning and there's been no problems. And I feel like the only time the Leafs are like super in the news and every day we gotta yell about the Leafs is when they're bad and losing and things are going to hell. And now it hasn't been that because they've been really good. Mm-hmm. And we should acknowledge that, like, hey, look at this subjectively without the history of you being tortured of a Leafs fan. And this is just a really good hockey team that finished second in the Eastern Conference, one of the top in the entire National Hockey League. I think they have the best points percentage since, I forget which day. It's like second best points percentage since February 1st or something like that. Yeah. And they're an unbelievable team, and there's no reason they should lose this series, and it shouldn't be close. Like the argument against the argument against like, hey, there'll be a lot of physical battles. Yeah, that's every series. Put any team against any team in the playoffs, it'll be physical and they'll be fighting.
You know, so does the question become that?
You know what was physical? Washington, New York. Last year. That was physical.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That one team beat the shit out of the other, though. Like,
should then the question be, are the Leafs now equipped to handle it in a way that they couldn't before?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, okay. The Leafs played with a 122-point pace from February 1 onwards. From February 1st, they were 22-7-2.
Yeah, but the only time everybody was getting really worked up about the Leafs was when they had a 3-game losing streak in that. Like, where was the hype for when they're on a 5-game winning streak to end the season?
Yeah.
And it's not as loud as when they were on a 3-game losing streak in the middle of a 122-point pace.
Yeah.
It's so, I hate the narrative around the team in the town because it's so disingenuous. Because nobody's willing to just admit that, like, hey, they're good and that's fine.
Can you blame us, though? We've been a little hurt.
I can.
Totally. Well, like, here's how I kind of look at it. Beating Tampa in 2023 was getting over the mental hump. They did it. When they lost to Florida was better. They were the better team, like by kind of a big margin.
And especially because you saw what Florida did the next 3 rounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that shouldn't have been close.
Yeah, we got to win. We got to win.
The next
we got one
year,
win. Carolina didn't even get that.
Like the next year when they beat when they lost to Boston, that series had no business going 7. They didn't deserve it. Not even close. And this year, I'm looking at the way they've played, and I'm like, yeah, no, they should be the favorite. If they do lose to Ottawa, to me, it's a 2021 style choke. And I mean, it seems like we say this every offseason, but you're going to have to blow it up. This time, like, I know last year I was like, well, this year, I think they do. I mean, there's no justification for bringing back anyone with a nameplate if you lose this year.
This is a different loss, 100%.
Yeah.
This is everything going into this is a different circumstance as opposed to the last 4 years.
But I don't think they're going to.
It's more like 21. Yeah, and I don't think they're going to lose either.
Okay.
Not in the first round. The second round's a little dicey based on who they're going to get, Tampa or Florida. But the first round, because that's where we are, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
All right, check out my bracket. Check it out.
Have you compared your bracket to Jesse's yet? I haven't done that yet. Okay.
Why do I want to see the wrong one?
Yeah, you don't want to see that.
I'm going to be curious.
I got Montreal winning the cup in 4-game sweeps every way along the way.
Over Vegas? Just
No,
16 straight?
over the Wild.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Montreal, Minnesota final.
Trying to curry favor with producer Hayden. I see.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's what I'm picking.
You know what?
Sure.
Why don't we do the press conference? Peloton has what you need to achieve your fitness goals, no matter why you got started or when. And this is the thing. Steve, you're a Peloton user.
Buddy.
You get on that cycler.
Buddy. Love a ride.
Yeah?
Boy.
What does it do for you, not just physically, but mentally?
Oh, it's a great... I lock in by checking out, if that makes sense. Everything else goes away. What is the point in worrying when I am on my bike?
Now, there are 4-week strength building classes to get you running, indoor and outdoor workouts, everything in between. Peloton will push you to achieve your goals. With Peloton's all-access membership, you can work out where you need to. So, like at home with your tread, outdoors on your runs, or you can take your favorite classes to the gym with the app, which is kind of sweet too. So you can, basically, you're bringing a personal trainer with you with the Peloton app.
I love going riding in South America or in Scotland.
Is that your run? Or your thing? My mom's thing is she likes the Austrian mountains. She likes to go for a little ride through the Austrian
I'll go in Hawaii, buddy. It's wherever the bike takes
That's the
me.
Tour de France for Maryland.
Yeah, that's right. So if you want to find your push, find your power, do so with Peloton at onePeloton.ca.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Last one of the regular season.
You said that like stomping Tom Connors.
Last one of the playoffs, too.
Last one of the playoffs, too.
Adam, I know you don't have the best memory.
Terrible.
So I assume you might have not remembered or noticed.
Adam Wilde, mind
that
freak.
We spent all Monday doing one thing on our show, and that was making fun of Steve.
Yes.
And then Steve shaved.
He did.
Yes.
I did forget that. but the question is, so now he's got a little bit of fuzz in, right?
Stubble.
He did shave.
Yeah.
But you got
They're done.
No, you got to shave again.
Why?
No
way!
No. I don't know where you're coming up with that.
You don't think he's going to shave?
He shaved. Like, it's fine now.
Okay.
He shaved the week of the playoffs. Like, it's fine.
I thought I had to start day of.
I haven't shaved since they clinched the Atlantic.
Now, when you left the show on Monday, you were indignant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we called the show Phony Steve.
Yeah.
Why did you make the pivot, and where was it that you got bullied into and finally broke? Because when you left here, Jesse, I was convinced he wasn't shaving.
Yeah, and then I want to read the comments from the people because we said we'd get your reaction.
You know what? Maybe read those first.
Yeah, I want to hear.
Do you want to talk about your reasoning to shave, or do you want to hear what the people said?
I want to hear what the people.
Okay. So Brooksy said the real reason the Leafs have not made it past the first round is because Steve cheats in his playoff.
There it
period.
is. There it is right away. You nailed it. Because I don't want to friggin' hear it, and now I don't have to.
This was from Reviewy CA. The hockey gods see the beard cheating, Steve, and they may show their disapproval in ways you will not like.
Oh,
that was written so ominous. It was very good.
Wow. Wow.
man,
That one-
that's like a Nostradamus passage, right? Like,
That
that's
one had
crazy.
113 up comments.
That's,
Thumbs up on the
Yeah,
comment.
you don't feel like shaving? All right, I'm going to make sure you shave as soon as possible. Yep. Yep.
This one is from Kratzy. Start the beard over, phony man. It's not about the result. It's about the journey.
I love that.
How about you take a journey to deleting your account?
That was more of like a Buddha
Right.
response.
Adam, you had asked about some of the worst playoff beards. Gem F8 wanted to throw in Patrick Laine when he was on the Jets.
Oh, the neck beard.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yo, it's crazy. Sometimes you go look at old pictures of Patrick Laine with the Jets and that beard. I remember when he started growing that, I was like, that is the ugliest beard I've ever seen in my life. Like, that is a crazy ass beard.
You know, in Step Brothers, when they fart in the job interview, and all right, now the suit's kind of fucked up. That's when he was scoring 40 goals a year. You're like, yeah, go off, Patrick. And then when he got cold, it's like, all right, yeah, now the beard's kind of fucked up. You should
Right.
probably- you should
Weird
probably
how that
shave.
works, isn't it? Poor
Yeah,
guy.
you're not good enough
We're
to have
just
that beard.
riffing on this poor guy and his beard.
This one was from Rickster. Jesse is 100% correct about growing the playoff beards, but he is also 100% wrong about 4 goals not being a hat trick.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
I didn't get a vote. This was from Jake. This is your vote, Jake. I didn't get a vote, but I'm with Steve on the playoff beard. I can't grow one either, so I start early too. See, Steve, I think a lot of people who were in your camp were just other people who could not grow beards.
There are dozens of us. Dozens. I will stand up for the bald-faced community.
Bald face. That's good. This is from Moose Hawkins. Nah, Steve, you have to start the beard over. What are we doing? I think we.
What are you doing? What are you doing, huh?
There were a lot of people who came to your defense, but there were just more people who were upset with you.
Now,
And a lot of people blamed you for all of the losses because you've been cheating.
you get blamed for that a lot. You get blamed for a lot of losses. Like, I know that
yeah?
I happen to know that you picked Colorado to go to the finals in your bracket, and Drew is really upset about it. Drew's pissed.
He would have been relieved if I picked the Leafs. Nope. You sit in it, Drew. You sit in it.
Also, Steve, you didn't go like razor down. You left a little stubble, right?
I don't remember.
I'm just based
I
on
don't
your
think I
face
did.
right now.
I don't think I did.
I don't think you went to the barber and they got out the knife and they were like down to the skin on
the
Tuesday.
The foil shaver.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is
down to the skin on the neck on account of its gross.
Yeah. No, but I'm excited to see your genuine playoff beard this year.
Me too.
But Adam, you were asking about Steve leaving the show on Monday and the decision he made.
When did you make that call?
When I hadn't had dinner yet.
On Monday?
Yeah, I hadn't had dinner yet.
Why
I went downstairs and shaved, and I've shaved once since then.
Okay, but why though? What was the
Bullying works.
Because because bullying works is why.
Were you reading the comments? Was it what Jesse and I said? I
The
gotta
show
know what was the.
probably hadn't gone up yet.
But when you left, even off mic, you're like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You both are wrong.
And on my way home, I decided resistance is futile.
Bullying works.
Bullying works.
Bullying
and
does work.
instead of having, you ever decide not to have a fight with yourself? I made a truce with myself and I said, just save.
Tell
shave.
me more about that. Just shave and then you don't have to fight with yourself?
I don't got to fight with myself. I don't got to fight with Adam and Jesse. And more importantly, I don't got to compete with the Persian arrows blocking out the sun, except every arrow is a comment telling me to shave, you stupid looking prick. So that's what I decided.
What I love about Steve's playoff beard around game 5 or 6 is that the corners of his chin start to grow faster than the rest of his beard.
And it's
really
they're not
weird.
even gray. They're like white.
Yeah, it's just like this weird.
Like the mug.
So everything else grows like at a normal pace, but those two little spots grow a little faster, and it just looks a little sloppy. Like we give Line shit
looks
for his
stupid.
beard. It's fun. You should dye it.
No.
Dye it this year.
No.
Blue.
You know
Dye it
what?
blue.
Yeah. You'd be one of those guys.
You know what? We get to the second or third round, we can start dyeing that thing blue.
Damn. You know what I think you're forgetting about me is I'm also like a functioning adult who's got to like go to the bank and get groceries and shit.
Nah, people will understand.
Yeah, it's leaf season.
Yeah.
You know what?
There is a pass for that. Some crazy stuff happened with the Raptors. Remember that guy walking around with a plant? Like, it's like this.
That was during the parade.
It was during the parade.
It wasn't the first round.
Sometimes I worry about like leaning too hard into being me because I never want people to be like, what a dick.
Dick?
I know I'm not a
think you're
dick.
just a
I just
fan.
don't want people to think it.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that too much. You've come this far, you know? And honestly, I respect the fact that you took your friend's advice, that you shaved it, and now you can start the playoffs with a clear conscience.
I think you're giving yourself too much credit. I did take your advice. Oh yeah, you're acting like I sat there and went, you know what? Adam and Jesse are right.
If we
was
never
more-
said anything, you'd have a full beard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
but
gotta
that's
get
not
credit for
Adam
that.
and Jesse are right. This will shut those pricks up.
By doing exactly what we asked you to?
Yeah,
I feel like we were
and
right.
I was wrong. Here you are blabbing on about it anyway.
I feel like we
Yapping.
were right. I feel like
Just
you wouldn't have done it. If we were wrong, you wouldn't have done it.
Wow.
That's so true. Dan.
Right?
He
Like,
knows.
I feel like we said it and you're like, they're right.
You know what? A saying I love? The truth has a ring to it.
Wow. That is
And I think
so
it rung,
old and Adam
it
Wild.
rung true to you, I think.
That saying comes with a Werther's original in your friggin' leather wallet.
Also, I just want to put myself out there in the supporter of the people who dye their hair or beard the team's colors.
I love that.
It's kind of cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve's not, but whatever.
I've been very fortunate. I haven't had to dye my hair. I'm fortunate.
No,
Blue.
he's talking about the
I'm
team
talking
colors.
about blue.
Oh,
Yeah. Or
I'll do
green
it.
or red or purple or whatever.
yeah, but like I don't know. I see like dark guy do it, and I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think I just look like a dick. I don't know.
It would be funny. It'd be hilarious. It would just
So
be
you
hilarious.
think dye the brownie blonde parts blue?
Yeah.
The white?
Yeah.
Make it look really, really Leafs.
They okay. I can't do this in the first round.
No, because it's not
No,
mine.
no.
They gotta make it a little bit, and then we'll have this conversation again.
And I bet you there's some beard dyers out there who can help us with that.
What would you?
We'll
would you have
ask
to
Dark
bleach?
Guy.
Yeah, how do you do it?
Let's ask Dark Guy.
Would you have to bleach?
No, you
the
wouldn't.
rest
No,
of the
no.
way?
No, bleach is when you're going lighter. So with color, and usually when you do it, you can wash it off like the next
Yeah,
day.
no,
Yeah,
but bleach it then dye it. Isn't that
No,
what you have to do?
we're
not gonna do
doing
that.
we're doing costume level dye.
Yeah.
like we're going the spirit Halloween
Spray
and
paint.
we're getting like
like it comes off in the shower.
yeah.
Ah.
We're not going to shoppers and getting just for men.
Yeah.
you know
Why not?
because it doesn't have
I
to
don't
be
think
that
they have
serious.
blue just for men.
Where do you?
Do they have blue Grecian?
It's not that serious.
I don't know. Listen,
I
if I'm going to join the blue-haired community, I want to do this properly.
I respect the commitment, but I feel like we could just do this so easily and cheaply. I do know people that you can dye your hair with Kool-Aid too, and it just washes out the next day.
Oh, nice.
Beg your pardon.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you smell a little bit. You'd probably be a bit sticky, but
Smell delicious.
okay. You smell like.
Anyways, we solved Beardgate. He
Yeah.
shaved, so we
Well
win.
done, audience.
Yeah.
Good job on the bullying.
Woo!
More bullying.
Bullying works.
That's what the world needs. More bullying.
Adam, a lot of people were bringing up if you don't listen to, if you're not a member of SDP VIP, you should
Why
be.
not?
You should be, first of all. How dare
Asshole.
you? You can subscribe to SDP VIP on Apple, on Spotify, or on YouTube. It gets you an extra episode of the Steve Dangle Podcast every single Thursday night. We don't talk hockey there. It's like pop culture stuff. We talked about the Blue Origin space launch where Katy Perry went to space and
On
was,
the dick ship.
was on Jeff Bezos' his thing
It
ship.
is penis looking.
Yeah.
You can't deny.
And then we also talked a lot about the Masters, and we had a Masters bet. We all picked a player to win, to finish the best in the Masters. I actually picked McIlroy, who ended up winning, which means I got to have a punishment for Steve, and the punishment's going to be revealed next week, and we're going to do it all at SportChek. But Adam, a lot of people were bringing up, because we had a punishment going and a bet, that you had lost a bet a long time ago.
Oh, with the apple.
And you never delivered.
I never did.
And some people were like, Steve can not wear the Sens jersey and it's just
All right, so if
fine
I
because,
bring in-
because Adam never fulfilled his promise of a bet.
So if I bring in the apples, then Steve's got to do his.
I think, yeah. I think because you didn't do the apples, that Steve could
right.
probably get away with not doing his punishment.
Okay,
so
then-
you have to bring in apples, a bag of apples,
I will
so that
bring that
Steve can
into
fulfill his
to
punishment.
SportChek on Monday.
There we go. So then Steve has to wear the jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
You not bringing in the apples is why the Leafs keep fucking losing. That's why they lost, because you didn't bring in the fucking apples. All right, now let's see the bullying magic work.
Hey, this is coming from the same guy who wouldn't meet Jesse and I to watch a Leafs playoff game because he needed to watch it on his good luck couch.
Yeah. Also, I didn't want to drive.
And where's that good luck couch? You gave that away.
Yes, we did.
It was not a good luck couch.
Adam was distracting from the fact that he got bullied into bringing apples.
I will bring the apples.
Yeah. So I don't even remember what the bet was for.
I don't either.
If somebody in the comments remembers what our Apple bet was, I think it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
now.
I know. And every time somebody brings it up, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, but you didn't do it.
People really care about the
Yeah.
apple bet.
Oh, look at that. Adam forgot.
Yeah.
Bring in the apples, asshole.
Mind freak.
Bring in the apples.
April is Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. The leading charity dedicated to changing the face of men's health is encouraging you to know thy nuts. And that's Movember. By regularly checking your nuts, you can know thy nuts. And here's the thing. Only 22% of Canadian men feel very confident they'd be able to check their testicles for irregularities. Because even if you check them, what am I checking for?
That's why you got to know them. You got to, this is, if they feel different Monday to Tuesday, it's a problem.
Okay, now 1 in 4 Canadian young men would not visit a doctor unless their testicles were in, quote, extreme pain. And that has to change. That's not how we want to look at this. So one of the things they are telling you to do is how to check your pair. You want to steam up the shower, okay? This relaxes and loosens it all up. You roll with your finger and your thumb, 1 testicle, 2 testicles, and sort of repeat. And if you see anything or feel anything that you're like, doesn't feel like it should be there, you go to the doctor and you check it out. And if you need sort of a whole way of doing this, onePeloton.ca has all the information. Testicular cancer may present as things like a lump, a swelling or pain, an increase in size, change the way it feels. These symptoms are vague and may not be the same for everybody. So again, you feel something irregular, you got to go to the doctor, and that's why Movember is encouraging you to know thy nuts. Go to nutsandbolts.movember.com.
And then we also had another Adam thing to touch on because
correct.
Adam recorded with Alan Walsh.
Yes.
Who talked a lot about Ray Shero, and he talked about Chris Simon and CTE in the NHL, and he also touched on Marc-Andre Fleury. And I wanted to play this clip of you and Alan talking about Marc-Andre Fleury's infamous prank from a couple years ago.
Yes.
So do you want
Go
me
ahead
to
and play
it?
You can do it.
He was on After Hours Saturday night. Great interview with Scott Oak. They were talking about the prank on Brandon Duhaime. Flower had called me that morning really early. It was around 7 a.m. And he goes, hey, Alan, do you know what time the Home Depot opens here? And I'm like, you're on the road. He goes, yeah, I got to get to Home Depot right when they open. I go, what are you up to? What are you up to? He's like, well, you'll see. And we all saw he bought a car jack. He bought pounds of dirt, flowers. He ended up taking the tires off, jacking the car up, taking the tires off, and he kept the lug nuts.
What?
Amazing.
I remember he texted me. He's like, I got the lug nuts.
It's so ridiculous. I'll see if I can pull up the picture of Brandon.
That's a lot of effort, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the amount of effort to go look at the car. It has no wheel.
One of his favorite things to do when he was on the show with Alan and I
Oh my! Look at the
is
dirt on it.
is to lean a garbage bin full of water, like from your hotel garbage, against your door, and then knock on your door, and you open the door, and then the bin.
Oh
falls.
my God.
Loves to do that. Loves to do that. So my question is, for if I'm Brandon to him, I'm like, okay, but like how. Hilarious. How do I get home?
What about my car?
Put the tires back on. Like, what do we...
I need the tire.
I don't even have the lug nuts.
And now I'm just, I lost them.
Yeah. Oh.
I would just say I lost them.
And the amount of dirt on the engine, like that's not a
So
small,
he planted a flower garden?
Yeah, that's not a small amount of dirt.
Oh, that's a lot of dirt.
Like he's just shoving it on the ground now and driving away.
So here's my question. For him to be there for practice, he's got to be there for morning skate or practice, be on time. He's got to make sure Duhaime goes in, and he either has to do it before or after practice, either racing him out or doing it really quickly and then racing in. Or are you giving the coach a heads up? Like, I'm going to be a little late.
Did he have help?
He must have.
I mean, Alan's his agent. Maybe he did.
I don't think Alan flew in for that.
Never know. Duhaime's not his client.
Like, to pull tires off a car is not like, it's not that hard, but it's not the easiest thing. And to get cinder blocks underneath it, you had to have. He hired a crew. Must have been.
He had to have. Unless, I think it's funnier if he didn't. He brought bricks. He brought dirt.
The
He
cinder
brought
block,
flowers.
it's sitting
He
on
brought-
cinder blocks.
This was last season. If you don't remember this incident, or if you're just learning about it the first time, Duhaime had covered Marc-Andre Fleury's car in toilet paper, and this was Fleury's response to that. So they had a mini prank war going back and forth, and Duhaime, I think, lost because this is worse than a toilet paper covered car is not having wheels on your car.
Dude, that's like, oh man, this one time he was standing on my left side but tapped my right shoulder and made me look the wrong way. So I threw everything he owns onto the front lawn and set it on fire. Pranked!
Yeah.
LMAO! Gotcha!
Like Fleury brought a drone to a knife fight.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, though, with Fleury. It's like you're going to test the king. Yeah. Right? Like, you're going to come at me. You better be ready. Right?
That is, I mean, I wish Fleury had done this earlier in his career just because it would establish, there's something wrong with that guy.
there's
Let's leave him alone.
He chained up the tires.
Oh, my
So the Wild had tweeted it out at the time.
And he put a for sale sign in the window, too.
He had chained up the tires, I guess, to the parking garage wall.
How'd he get in the car? How'd he get in his
You
vehicle?
don't need to get into the car to take off tires.
No, the for sale sign, or is that on the outside?
It's on the outside.
Oh,
Yeah. That's sitting
Okay,
on the,
now
on the-
here's
on
my
the-
question. I want to know how he got the key for the lug nuts, right? Because you do get specific, like there is a locking nut on each tire. Otherwise, people would just be able to roll up and steal your rims and tires, no problem, right? Like that's nuts.
Mess with the bull, you get the flowers.
Hey, Flower, it's Brandon. I just wanted to say that you won the prank war, and I'm sorry.
You won. I'm sorry. That's such an admission of defeat. It's just you won. I'm sorry. Like, please, can I have my tires back?
Oh my God.
That's so great.
That's South Park.
brought that up.
That's Cartman versus Bart. It's I'm a pretty bad kid, man. Oh wow, that's crazy. That's like this one time.
Scott Center.
There was a kid I didn't like, so I ground up his parents into chili and fed it to him. You win, man. You win.
All right.
Yeah. So that's how he got them off, Adam. You were asking. Oh. It looks like he just used a
How did he get
socket wrench thing.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That is nuts. Good for him. Wow.
We're going to miss Fleury.
I need the CCTV footage of him walking out of the store with this.
The Home Depot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what was his conversation like? I hope he didn't go to self-checkout. Like, oh, getting a bunch of different stuff done today? Yeah. With his big teeth. His big white Marc-Andre Fleury teeth.
He's got a good smile for a pranker.
Like Alan telling that story, and he's like, what time did he say you texted him?
It was like 6 in the morning.
6 in the morning.
Like, when does this happen? Or when does this open?
He
Alan's
must
like, I don't
be
know.
so unsurprised
Yeah.
by a text like that because it's Fleury. Right?
Yes. Yeah. And you know what's funny is like Fleury, like he's got several kids. He's got 3 kids. So he'd have to say to his wife, listen, I need you to hold down the fort this morning.
No, he was on the road.
Oh, he's on the road?
Because it was in
Oh,
Minnesota.
oh, okay, right.
Yeah, he's on the road at the time, right?
Yeah.
They said, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway. Oh, that's in Denver. Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Great. Spectacular. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Bro, there's something wrong with that guy.
Did you want to share anything else from that AP episode that people should listen to?
I thought the Ray Shiro stuff, I think you don't realize how many people came out of the Ray Shiro school of like mentorship. So Bill Guerin and Tom Fitzgerald specifically are 2 names that come to mind. And his dad was obviously a legendary coach with the Flyers in the 70s. Ray was on AP, and we talked a little bit about his dad and talked a little bit about him. Just a really affable human being. And, you know, this is the guy that put together the team that won Crosby at his first cup. That's right. Right? So like that was really great. The Chris Simon stuff, you know, it was a heavier agent provocateur. And I know that, you know, that's not always the most fun, but what was interesting. And the Chris Simon stuff was fascinating because his family came out and said it was suicide. And the Chris we knew was gone a long time ago. And we are not surprised by this. And here were the issues we faced with CTE. And now, you know, when Al and I started the show, I think it was like 13 or 14 NHL brains had been tested for CTE. Since then, we've had another 7 or 8, right? And only one ever has come back without it. And some of the names that we've had recently, Stan Mikita, Bobby Hull, Chris Simon, names that you know. And you're like, again, whenever this debate happens, it shouldn't be a debate. It devolves into, oh, you just want the game to be soft. No, you can't even take headshots out of hockey. You can't. You can penalize them more though. You can make people a little more careful around the head. That's the messaging. And I feel like that's getting lost in the internet discourse as everything does. That's the frustrating part is it's like the NHL, when you ask them about it, they'll just say no comment. And that even the NFL is funding studies on CTE. The NFL is paying for it.
Yeah.
The NFL.
This is not a good place for your sport and your alumni to be in. Take steps to fix it instead of denying the problem together.
Yeah. That's it. Anyway, so that's the problem with CTE is as always, you can't test for it while someone's alive.
Yeah, it's only posthumously.
Yeah. So anyway, great episode to listen to, and it helps you understand the thing. And Alan told some great stories about Ray, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay. Awesome. To end the season, because we are past game 82, the regular season is over. We must play a game of point a game. Now that everybody has officially set their totals, do you guys want to play point a game?
Yes.
Point a game.
Adam doesn't remember the game.
I don't remember.
We've played this a number of times on the Steve Dangle podcast. It's where Adam and Steve go back and forth and they guess a player who has been a point a game.
Oh!
Do you remember the game?
Oh, yes. I remember the
game. So they give me a player like Connor McDavid, and if they are point a game, they've scored as many points as they have played games, they continue on. And as soon as one of them names a player who is not a point a game, the game is over and the other person wins. There is no minimum games limit to point a game. So if you named a player who played 1 game and scored 1 point, that classifies. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Steve, you want to go first?
Nikita Kucherov.
Nah.
All right.
Gonna be mine.
Good. Adam?
Kirill Kaprizov.
Brandon Hagel.
Connor McDavid.
Leon Draisaitl.
Oh, you can't do that.
Why?
That's not fair.
Why?
That's not fair. Mitch Marner.
William Nylander.
Stop taking my lead. You're taking my lead.
Okay.
Austin Matthews.
William Nylander is very close.
Oh.
He has a point a game, but he has 84 points.
Okay.
You can't breeze by these.
Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
Yeah. Suck it.
And now it gets hurt. Did we already say Kirill Kaprizov?
Yes.
Ah, shoot.
Shoot.
Nick Suzuki.
Sidney Crosby.
Suzuki, by the way, is 89 and 82.
There you go. That's not breezing by. That's pretty good.
7 off. 7 off is not a whole bunch. Steve, you're up. Kaprizov, by the way, was 56 and 41. It was very point.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Only 41 games played.
David Pastrnak.
Yeah.
Kyle Connor.
That's an easy one. 97 points on the year for Connor, just short of the century mark.
Yeah, it's not 100 though, is it?
McDavid hit 100 points in 67 games.
That is so stupid.
Like, the dude is so good at hockey.
Oh my god.
I don't know this. I just think this player is really good. Braden Point.
I mean, he is very good.
Yes, Braden Point is 82 points in 77 games.
Hey,
He crossed it.
Nathan McKinnon.
I don't know how we got this far without mentioning McKinnon. Yes. 116 he finishes the year. Kucherov wins the Art Ross.
How many points did Kucherov have? Just so I know.
121.
Wow.
That's a lot lower than last year.
Still pretty good. Ivan Demidov.
Yes. That counts.
That's good, man.
That
That's
counts.
good. I respect that. Okay. All right. I'm just going around the league here.
Yeah.
I wanted to wait longer on Demidov.
You had to pull it up.
No, it's a good one. I like that. I like that. I respect that. Jack Eichel.
I thought about him.
I'm concerned about this one.
Yeah, I think you'll be okay.
Is Jack short for anything?
It could be
Jackarai?
well, so my grandfather's
Jack
name
Jaffer.
was John, but they all called him Jack or Jonathan.
Jack Eichel, by the way, 94 and 77.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
jeez.
Yes, it's
Good.
not even close.
Good.
Yeah. Jackson Eichel?
Could be
Possibly.
Jackery.
Yeah, but
Jackarai.
he came through the American hockey program. If his full name was Jackson, he would go by it.
Yeah, true.
That's such an American hockey program name.
Totally.
Or WHL name. There's a lot of overlap.
All right. We have an answer. Jack Eichel's real name is John Robert Eichel.
Oh, see? my grandfather.
I'm happy I asked.
John Robert.
John Bob Eichel? Jack is John Bob?
So that's the same thing with your grandfather, Adam? You just said?
Yeah, his name.
I
was
hope
John.
the Wild swing.
Wow.
His name was John.
How does
I've
that,
been lied to.
how does that happen?
Because Jack, I don't know why Jack is like the name, but if your name is John, people are like, yeah, John's for losers. So I'm going to call you Jack. Like, I don't understand.
But John is a name.
I know, and it's one syllable, as is Jack. I don't get it.
And they're
it's supposed
not-
to be like an informal one. I don't get it.
All right.
Wait, why? Hold on. Why
look
do
it up.
people who are named John also get Jack?
Why are people named Richard called Dick?
The name Jack is a derivative of John, which originated in medieval England. The name went from John to Johnkin to Jankin to Jakin to, you
What?
guessed it, Jack. It's of Celtic origin, meaning healthy, strong, and full of vital energy, which I think Jack Eichel is.
All right.
Wow. Steve, you're up.
I might be off here. Jason Robertson?
Ooh.
I know it's close. I know it's close.
80 points Adam wins point a game. Wow.
Wow.
That is an upset victory to end the season.
Damn.
Man.
I knew he had over 80. Well, I knew it started with an 8.
That was, oof.
But I was like, maybe he missed a few games. I guess not.
All right, so we can look at some of the point totals for the end of the season. Some surprise performances. A lot of names you guys
Cale
didn't
McCarr,
mention.
I'm an idiot.
Cale McCarr is
I wasn't
up there.
sure if he got there, but he obviously got there pretty healthily.
You guys cleared the top 8, which is great.
That's good.
Yeah.
The standings in terms of points finished Kucherov, McKinnon, Draisaitl, Pasta, Marner.
Yep.
You said Marner?
Yeah.
McDavid, Connor, Eichel. So you guys got the top 8.
The only one we didn't get it in the top 10 was Cale McCarr because I got Crosby.
You got Crosby. And then Clayton Keller comes in at
Wondered
number
about that one.
11. Very good season for Keller on
Yeah.
a not a great Utah team. 90 points in 81 games. Hagel, 90 points in 82 games. Panarin,
My next one was going to be Rantanen, by the way.
89 and 80. Suzuki, 89 and 82. Rantanen, 88 and 82.
He just did it. I wondered if
Rod.
he did it.
One of the more underrated seasons of anybody. Jesper Bratt,
Yeah.
88 points this season. Scheifele had 87. Willie had 84. Nietzsche's 83. Duchesne 82. That's the top 20 in point totals.
I have to look this up, but I feel like scoring overall in the league was either super spread out or it's just down, straight up down,
It is down.
yeah.
It is down.
which I don't like.
If
But
you
it's
compare,
scoring back up.
so these are the 24, 25 point totals. And then we just go here and we look at the last year's. Oh, sorry.
Both
There you
seasons.
go.
Yeah.
Like, compare the point totals to last year where Kucherov had 144 points.
That is so
McKinnon had 140. McDavid had 130.
Two
Panarin
guys
had
with 100 assist
120.
seasons, Jesse.
Like, it's absurd to the drop off from the top to the bottom, or to the top next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for Kucherov, man. That's crazy.
Are we just gonna? I totally forgot about this, but since his name came up, are we gonna mention Panarin? Katie Strang had a story in The Athletic about a sexual assault,
alleged assault and a cover up.
Yes, it's a very bare bones story. Got my attention. I was very surprised. I think a lot of people were very surprised, and I'm waiting for more to come out.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think we're ever gonna get that because of the NDAs that were signed. Like, in her story,
Yeah.
she quotes the people involved in it and MSG and the victim and all that, and they can't say anything because it was settled and they signed an NDA. So I feel like it's kind of gonna be the beginning and the end of it, unfortunately. Like, I don't know if we can get more information.
Yeah.
Did not think it was possible for the Rangers season to get worse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah. Yeah. So listen, with that and an awkward turn here.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. You're right. You had to bring it up. You have to talk about it, but it's going to be interesting to see what the fallout from that will be, if anything at all.
any.
And I do think it's worth mentioning that there is a very high-profile court case starting next week.
Yep.
What do we have?
Well, we got the World Junior 2018 because there's also an 03. The World Junior 2018 case that's going to be going to trial
25th, I think.
I want to say it's very soon. Michael McLeod has left his
KHL.
KHL team in the middle of the playoffs because he's got to be there in court. And a story that's sort of under the surface here. Obviously, all 5 accused are going to be, I believe, in court. But players who are still in the NHL and potentially still playing games might get subpoenaed.
Right.
Are they going to have to be there in person in London, Ontario?
Or just give statements.
Give statements? Are they going to potentially like video call in? It's going to become a story over the next week.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll look out for that and we'll keep you updated on that. Now, we will be, as I mentioned, but I'll say it again, we'll be on from, if you're listening to the podcast, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays next week. Should the series go later, then it's going to change the schedule up. So just be aware of that. Whenever there's a Leaf game, the safe bet is we do an STP the next day, right? That's what's going to happen. But it doesn't mess with our schedule next week, which is kind of great. We will be at SportChek on all Leaf game nights. SportChek at Maple Leaf Square. You can look for us there. I will also be doing my own streams from here at the SDPN studios because, hey, somebody's got to come here and make sure that the toilets still work. It's going to be a really fun couple of months. We're looking forward to it. So we're excited to hopefully see you guys down there. And hopefully, come on, please, can we get a run? Can we please get a deep run? Everybody else gets a deep run in the Atlantic.
All-Canadian final. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, you think so?
Leafs and Jets final?
Oh, you wouldn't put the Oilers in there.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, Steve just slighted the entire city of Edmonton. All right, Jesse, I think we're going to wrap there.
All right.
Can we end it? All right. Guys, say goodbye to the studio for a little bit. We're going on vacation to SportChek.
Later, babe.
Let's, babes.
Take care of the place. You're the place.
You're going to bring those apples?
Yeah, I'm going to bring the apples.
He's not bringing the
I bring them Sunday. Sunday apples, right?
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.